For most of my life, I embraced hustle culture. I try to do more. I follow new habits. But what really changed my life wasn't doing more. It was actually by doing and having less. Because I realized that I was able to finally take control of my time. I focused on work that moved me forward. And I finally looked after my well-being so that I can have energy to actually live life. Greek philosopher Epicurus once said, "Nothing is enough for the man or woman to whom enough is too little." To live your best life, you need to know what is your enough. Without that, it will never be enough. So in this video, I want to share with you the 10 things that I quit in order to simplify and improve my life for the better. I quit mindlessly scrolling and using my phone to pass time. I used to waste hours on my phone, either when I'm bored or maybe I'm waiting for a friend, and I would just doom scroll through my social media feed or looking through the different apps almost compulsively because I built it into a habit. It's amazing how much time we're wasting by just mindlessly scrolling. And I believe that with minimalism, it's important not only to declutter our physical things, but it's also just as important to declutter away our digital life as well. And once I weaned off my phone habit, I realized that I felt a lot less rushed, negative, and distracted. And I stopped wasting my spare moments by scrolling through on my phone. But instead, I wasn't missing any of the beautiful moments that are happening around me. I started being more intentional when I'm with my kids. And I end up taking new hobbies, like playing tennis, or even just watercoloring with my daughter. Now, instead of scrolling mindlessly when waiting for a train or waiting for a friend, I bring a book. And in those spare moments, as it added up every single month, I actually ended up finishing 3 to 4 books a month that I didn't have the time for previously. And really made me think about how much little moments that adds up of all those tiny moments in time when we're scrolling through our phones that we can use it to do things that are much more worthwhile in our lives. I quit living for my future self. For a long time, I thought that I'd be happy once I reached my goals. Then my life would be better and my ideal life would begin. But life is happening right now, right here, this very moment. And I realized that this is the life. This life has always been the one that I've been waiting for. And I think, yes, we need to do the hard things. We need to plan for the future in order to reach our goals. But I don't think that we should delay our happiness so much that this elusive future may never come. And it doesn't mean that you can take things easy, right? But you can stop feeling guilty for treating yourself better now. And I think you can live fully and also ambitiously in the now. It doesn't mean that you're delaying your future by going on that trip of a lifetime. Or giving yourself that time for intentional rest, because your journey, the one that you're taking on right now, it matters every single day. So start treating yourself better, treating your current self better. And this way we can all live with intention and can show up every day to make the most of every moment. I quit saying yes to everything. After I read the book Essentialism by Greg McKeown, it really inspired me to think about my own people-pleasing habit of saying yes constantly all the time. You know that feeling when you know that you packed your calendar too full and you just spread yourself too thin? And that was a period in my time when I felt like I lost the focus in my work and life. And I lost control of my own time and end up creating average work. We all get pulled in so many directions. Instead of focusing on a few important things, we end up being busy for busy's sake. Now I really think so carefully before I say yes to anything. I want to set limits on my own time and my energy, because life is a constant dance of choices. What we say yes to, that means that something else in our list has to go. Now, whenever I'm faced with an invitation or an opportunity, I always ask myself this: does this contribute to my existing projects and also my goals? I quit believing that intelligence or talent are things that we're born with. Now, if I'm not good at something, I know that I can always learn and improve with daily practice and getting more understanding of it. I learned video editing to start this YouTube channel. I learned digital marketing when I was laid off twice in the financial crisis. And that's how I eventually got a job with Google. American psychologist Carol Dweck's book, Mindset, really changed the way that I see how I should change my own fixed mindset into a growth mindset. And growth mindset is basically changing your belief to see that your intelligence are things that you can develop. And that will help you, especially when things don't work out in your own life. For me, I always believe that learning, it doesn't stop the minute that you leave your school. But instead, we should all embrace learning as this lifelong habit. So instead of thinking someone got ahead because they might be more intelligent or more gifted, think about how you can improve your own knowledge and skills instead. Because the one thing that really helped me, and I hope that you can remember this too, is failure and setback, it doesn't define you. It's how you respond to it that really matters. This resilience, this way of thinking that you can always get back up and get better, will keep you going no matter how hard things get. Speaking of learning, I want to share a few words about today's video sponsor, Adobe Photoshop. Years ago, when I first got started in content creation, I had really basic creative skills. And I rolled up my sleeve and started diving in and learning all about this amazing, powerful tool. Photoshop gave me the creative freedom to create professional looking content that I was able to share on all my social media channels and eventually grew a large audience. And I'm a firm believer that daily practice and learning can help you master any skill. And Photoshop made it really fun for me along the way. My favorite feature to use on this tool is the AI generative fill, which helps me to create something incredible from my existing graphics. The possibilities are pretty much endless, and you can have so much fun in the creative process. Check out Adobe Photoshop for a 7 days free trial in the link in my description. And now moving on to the rest of the video. I quit hoarding and buying clothes that I don't need. I traded my overflowing and also aspirational wardrobe that was really the result of myself overbuying in my younger years with a minimal set of essentials that I like to wear every single day. You can probably tell from watching my videos that my style is very simple and I usually wear just a few colors. Less is definitely more to me because now I wake up in the morning, I feel a lot less stressed, knowing exactly what I want to wear and not trying to figure out what else is in my closet. And this is the funny thing is that when I did a clear out, I didn't realize a person can have so many black tops, right? I think unfortunately in the age that we're living in, fast fashions, cheap clothes really leads us to overconsumption. And unfortunately, they waste your money and also your closet space. There are lots of clothes that I kept and thinking that one day I'll get a chance to wear it, just that one day. But the reality is, if you haven't touched it in the last 2 years, you probably won't be wearing it ever again. And by simplifying my style, I now focus on having simple but multi-purpose, high-quality items. I buy less, but now I get to wear them and love them more. I quit complaining about things that's out of my control. I went from someone who complained all the time to someone who would decide to make a change instead. Because dwelling on the things that we complain about will only just zap our energy and doesn't change anything. So instead, I focus on thinking about creating solutions, using what's available in front of me. When I struggle to live paycheck to paycheck, I decided to set up a realistic budget that I can actually stick to and cut out the spending from things that I don't need. When I got sick and was unhealthy, I decided to embrace a better lifestyle, manage my stress, and sleep better. So I started working out, I changed my diet, and I became more energized to be able to use that energy on things that move my life forward. So you see, by focusing on what you can control, you're more likely to acknowledge your achievements and celebrate your small wins every step of the way. And you're not bogged down by all this negativity and worry. You focus your energy on what really matters instead. I quit starting my day with no plan and direction. When you have a plan, you get up in the morning, you know exactly what you need to do and how to do it. And there will be no more wasted time and energy. I felt a lot less stressed when I started waking up with a plan that I made the night before. It's nothing fancy. I didn't go over the board every night planning these things out. It's literally just a very short list of things I want to prioritize first thing in the morning. And these are the things that I want to get done first. And you find that in the morning, you start tackling the hardest thing on your list first. And you're going to feel great once you're done with them. But one thing for me that I always believed in is that a plan is not locked in forever. Things will happen and life will get in the way, and that's okay. I quit an unrealistic tidy home for a long time, and whenever we have friends and family come over, you might have done the same. I literally run around, make sure there are no dishes unwashed, no surface unwiped, and then tidying up my daughter's room again to make sure no one steps in a Lego brick in pain. If you happen to, you know what I mean. And I feel that I'm usually exhausted by the time our friends and family actually do come over. And there've been so many times where I feel like I'm so tired, I couldn't fully enjoy the experience. And eventually it really made me wonder, What is wrong with us showing the real version of ourselves and how we live? So what if we made mac and cheese from the cupboard? Or let's say the living room, you have small kids with toys all over the sofa and the floor. Or that the kitchen had breadcrumbs over the counter. I think we, myself, definitely a big part of this, became so obsessed with showing this version of perfection. It's almost as if our home wasn't lived in by real people. Instead, it's one of those showrooms that you see on Instagram. But I really started to fall in love with this concept that our life is a beautiful mess. And it's time that we stop worrying for people to judge us for it. Our homes, your home or my home, is all full of loving memories of people that live there. You may be very clean or maybe not at all or somewhere in between. And we all have different standards, right? But what's important is that we are enjoying our experience of living there. And I think our friends and family, whoever comes over to visit, will feel the same too. I quit expecting others to make me happy. I think this has really changed my relationship, but especially with my husband, Simon. In any friendship or romantic relationships, I found it so liberating. I stopped expecting others to read my mind or waiting for them to become perfect. It's a bit like building your house on shifting sand, on this unstable foundation. When you start a relationship this way, whether it's friendship or romantically, it really leads to unrealistic expectations. I think it also gives control over to emotions, which oftentimes we can't control. By expecting others to make me happy, it led to resentment against others and actually neglecting my own self-worth and self-care. In my experience, real relationship takes work. We have to work on communication, having honest, open conversations with each other about expectations. At the end of the day, what I see is that we're all flawed human beings living imperfect lives. And I think real happiness comes within ourselves. While others in our lives can definitely contribute to our happiness, we shouldn't expect them to do so. So I hope that this video made you reflect on some of the things that you may also want to quit in your life. And I'd love to know more about them. So please do share with me in the comments section. If you like this video, you might also like these ones here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.